Hey everybody, it's cobradvs here, and this is going to be a quick how-to video, and it's how to tell if you have an NES Famicom adapter inside one of your NES games. Intellivision Dude sent me a message on Facebook, and he wasn't sure quite how you can tell without, I guess, physically opening the cart. Um, and it is pretty easy to tell, although I've been fooled once by this game, and I'll show you that in a second. So first off, let me tell you that some Nintendo games, yes, have NES to Famicom converters. The Famicom has 60 pins on its games. These, the connectors, are only 60 pins. The NES has 72. So there's a connector, or a converter, that takes your 72 pins to 60, and therefore allows you to play some Famicom games on your NES. And what happened was, from my understanding, don't take this as 100% historically accurate, this is just from what I understand. In 1995, or 1985, the Nintendo was rushing to get games out for the holiday season, so instead of converting all Famicom games to NES, they just made a converter so they could just take the Famicom part of the game, the converter, and an NES board. It just saved time, I guess, although it seems almost to be a little bit more expensive, if you ask me. But anyways, let's get down to the business of finding out if you have an NES converter in your console, or in your cartridge. The first thing you want to look for are games like this. Notice anything about every single one of these games? Every single one of them. Well, these are all black box games. I'm not sure if Kid Icarus is, but nonetheless, look for the games that have like gameplay footage on the front of it. This game came loose. Oh well. Games like Gyromite, Mario Brothers, Kung Fu, Balloon Fight. These classic games. These are some of the original NES games. Original NES games, and this is how they look. And oops. And this is the first thing you're going to want to look for. The second thing you're going to want to look for is this, the top. The top has to be flat, unlike Balloon Fight, which has clips. See how it has clips right here? The ones that have adapters usually a lot of the time do not have these. Also, the ones that have clips only have 3 screws. The one without clips have 5 screws. That's why you hear the 5-screw edition of some things. These are slightly more collectible than the 3 screws, I guess. But whatever. It doesn't really change anything, other than the fact that the ones with 5 screws are much more likely to have a adapter or converter in it than a 3-screw. Also, one thing to note is the 5-screw editions, they just use a regular Phillips, flathead screwdriver. These have some sort of special bit, so you can open the ones that have 5 screws. Anyways, the next thing you're going to want to look for is looking at the cartridge itself. Now, the two games that are, there's 3 games basically that are most likely to have converters in it. Gyromite, Stack Up. If you have a copy of Stack Up, odds are there's a converter in there. Most copies of Stack Up have it in there. And Hogan's Alley is another pretty big one that has them in there. Mind you, it's only the Hogan's Alley that has the 5 screws. So anyway, now what you want to look for. Now I have 2 copies of Gyromite here. One has an adapter in it, and one does not. The one that has the adapter in it is this one. This one has the adapter. I'm pretty sure. Yep. This one has the adapter. Now, if you have if you have an NES cartridge in your hand, and you have one that has a adapter in it, you'll notice the one that feels slightly heavier. The ones with adapters are slightly heavier because there's a lot more inside than just normal. So that's another thing you're going to want to look for. But 100%, just about like 99% of the time, if you see this on an NES cartridge, this is going to tell you that there is, almost without a doubt, adapter inside. Now I'm going to open this up because this one does not have the adapter inside. Look at the pins. Do you see the pins? Let me bring it close. Try and focus. I don't know if it will or not, though. If not, maybe I can get a little picture off the internet close of NES pins. But these come to a point. There, I guess you can see it kind of like there. They come to a point in the center of the pin. They come to like a V shape almost. Let's take a look at one with a Famicom adapter in it. This is what it'll look like. Right here. This is the Famicom part of the game. This is the adapter. And this is the NES 72-pin plug. Now, if you can see on these, do you see how the pins come to a point on the left side? That is basically almost a 100% guarantee that there's an adapter in there. Almost. And the reason I say almost is because Kid Icarus is a flat 5-screw edition, feels slightly heavier, and the pins go to a point on the side. I almost knew that there was an adapter in this, but I open it up, and there isn't. It's just a bigger board, as opposed to a normal, or the Gyromite NES board, so it was slightly heavier too, so I was almost like knew that there was one in there. But turns out there wasn't, so that was my mistake. But basically, that is how you can tell. Look for flat screws, flat top, very early NES game like this, slightly heavier, and the pins will go to a point on the side, not in the center. And before I go, here's a quick list of games that have, on the internet, people have confirmed to find NES adapters in, or Famicom converters. Here we go, all in alphabetical order. 1942, Clue Clue Land, Donkey Kong Jr., Duck Hunt, Elevator Action, Excite Bike, Golf, Gumshoe, Gyromite, which is a very popular one to have it in there. Hogan's Alley is a pretty popular one to have it in there. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Pinball, Raid on Bungling Bay, Rygar, Soccer, Stack Up almost always has one in, Tennis, Urban Champion, Wizards and Warriors, and Wrecking Crew. I want to get Wrecking Crew. That looks like a fun game. I really want that game. So anyways, guys, that's it. Intellivision Dude, I hope this helps you, and hopefully I can clear up a little confusion. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this helps.